If it's not going to be bright the whole entire time, it makes more sense to extinguish the poi, soak, and do a second set. And then what you do is ideally you want your choreography to be shorter than the burn time of your piece if you're going to actually choreograph. And then any extra time after you finish the piece, because you take a bow, any extra time you have another track that just plays, that you just spin out the rest, or you extinguish it after the second one as well. And that way you've maintained a solid show where you have bright fire the whole time. There's like almost nothing worse in my experience as a fire performer than your fire going out early, or like one of your poi going out and the other one's still going bright while you're spinning and you're finishing your performance. It just totally degrades the performance so much. So your homework is to actually go out with your music, both tracks, and record how long the fire burns as you're spinning. It doesn't matter what you're spinning, as you're spinning to that music, so that you can get a sense at that tempo, because slower music, your poi will burn for longer. Faster music, your poi burn for shorter. So you'll want to time it so that you can see how long your poi were bright. I would recommend you take a video of it so that you can see for yourself on the video where the visual degradation starts happening. That does help if you have two sets of poi. So then what you do is you line up your first track, or your shorter track with the quicker burning poi, and your longer track with the longer burning poi. Also relevant, when you get your poi, they may burn for one duration of time, but after you've used them multiple times, because the wicks do get smaller over time as you use them more and more and more, the burn time will actually decrease over time. So even if this set was bigger when you got it than this set may burn for less time later than this one does. So it's really relevant to be on that if you're trying to do a good solid show where you have like full fire for the whole effect. But if you have two sets of poi, then what you would do is you would soak both sets of poi before the show. You would spin them out, and then, because I don't know if you want your mom sitting outside while you're setting up, probably not. What you can do is you set it up, you close your fuel depot, and after you've dipped your poi and you've spun out the excess, you put the poi in a Ziploc baggie and close it like a quart, like a big one or a gallon size one, and then you close the Ziploc with the handle outside of it so that the air doesn't evaporate the white gas. And you keep each poi in their own bag, and then you take it out of the bag when you're ready for the set. And then what you do is you have like a candle or I use a cauldron that's, lamp fuel or something, or if you have like a tiki torch or something, so that you don't need somebody else to light you. And do you have somebody playing fire safety lined up? So make sure, super important, if this is somebody that's relatively new, even if they've done it before, make sure you have them actually extinguish the poi before you go on, so that you know that they can do it if something happens. If you feel like you want to refresh yourself on what my process is for initiating people into fire, I have a fire safety course online. It's $15. I can shoot you the download for that if you want it, and then have her watch it so that she has all that knowledge. I mean, it would be great information for her to have in general. But there's specific video in there on, like, unless you've worked with her before, you don't know how she's going to respond to the fire. So it may be necessary to get her comfortable with the fire first. A 30-year-old will often rise to the occasion because they know that they're important, or they'll say no, they won't do it. 17-year-old might want to help you, but they might not know what they're getting themselves into. So it might be helpful to have a set of tools to help her get comfortable with the fire on the off chance that she's not. Is she somebody that goes camping and uses fires already? So part of the fire class comes with a bunch of articles on various fire safety stuff that might be relevant as well. But I'm specifically thinking of the video in which I demonstrate a series of things. Running your hands through the flame, squatting over the fire so that you can actually feel the heat on your body. You're feeling it on your ass, but you're not actually on fire. Then doing transfers. Less relevant for her to do a transfer, especially if you're going to get her gloves. Like if she has gloves, gardening gloves, leather gardening gloves can work well. If she has gloves, then it's less likely to do a transfer. But if you have them do a transfer and then put it out with their hand, that can change their level of comfort immensely. And then definitely have them extinguish. These are all the things that I do with people before I have them spin fire, because it just helps relax people, you know, like rubbing the fire on your clothing and realizing you won't immediately ignite. Did you see my status on Facebook today? I was like, this goes out to my fire dancing friends. How many times have you seen in the movie a scenario where something catches on fire in a way that would never work that way in real life? I think that people are mistakenly miseducated by watching TV or movies, and they think spontaneous combustion in a way that just doesn't happen. So it's useful to just dispel the preconceived notions that people have. What you could do is you could have one person you could make them all part of the show so that they each only have one job. The person that's the most comfortable is the person that's the actual safety. They're the person that will actually extinguish the poi. But you can have one person be the person that lights it, a different person, and then you can have the other person be the person that holds on to the other poi and gets them ready for you for the second set and takes them out of the bag, so they're like, so they can feel included if you want to give them that. I'm like, this is how we make it a family event. Well, it's all part of putting on a show. People don't think about these things until it's relevant. Even if it's just a backyard show, these things are the difference between your audience being like feeling excluded from it, or like, oh, it's just him being the center of attention, versus, oh, yay, we all get to play together. I don't know what the context is, but if the context is like a backyard barbecue, what you could also do is bring practice poi with you and let them try it before your show. Because you know what? Nothing in the world will give people the same impression of how competent you are as them trying it and them thwacking themselves. I've done many, 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 many gigs where part of the gig was we would have casual classes where people picked up the prop, they tried it for themselves, even if you're just trying to teach them this one move. And even the together time version, which might be easier. Even if that's all you do, once people try it and they realize how not as easy as it looks it completely changes their relationship to you as an artist. And I know this because I would do shows where I did a performance, we did a class, and then we did a second performance. And the crowd response, the second performance, was very different. So if you wanted a more inclusive way to do it, that's a way to do it. I mean, and hula hoops, like, people will relate to that too, so.